Welcome, everybody. It's Bradshaw Live. It's Pop-Up Pandemic Thursday, not to be confused with Pop-Up Pandemic Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, except it's not Pop-Up Pandemic Wednesday. It is, as everyone knows, Hump Day Wednesday. Got to say hello to the squad. Let's start with Facebook. Jessica Leamy Joel saying, squad up, my loves. Share, blessed and highly favored parents. Squad up, Butler Anthony. How are you, Myrtle Ray? Jewel Delph. Good afternoon, Uncle Brad. Squad up. Tamika Nelson, Stargirl Mika. Tanya Brie de Paris. Tanya Brie de Paris. Sounds very fancy, Tanya Brie de Paris. Marge Higgs, how are you? Joy Ika. Monica Stone. Marcella McCullough. Denise Johnson, Green Squad up. Joan Grant. Myrtle Ray, and I think I said Tamika Nelson already, but if I didn't, I'll say her again. Joy Titus, squad up. Sweet X Theatist. Haven't seen Sweet X in a while. Maybe she's been in the comments, but I haven't seen her in a while. She is an old friend of the Brad Squad, but I haven't seen you in a while unless I'm wrong, Sweet X. Maybe I could be wrong. Don't be insulted if you've been here every day, but I don't remember saying hello to you for a long time. William New Wazerski Christantis saying squad up, everybody. I hope I got William's name right. Deanna Moore, squad up as well. Tracy Rowe, Joan Grant, how are you? Carol Anderson, the Tiger, Christy Gonzalez, and of course, Jilly Gould, all in the comments on Facebook. And let's check out what's going on YouTube. Sexy Shan Myers, the sexiest Shan Myers there is on YouTube. Maudlin Davis, how are you? Nikisha Ed saying hi. Brad, Tracy, Lacey, Alyssa, Henry, Denise Johnson, Karina, Camelia Clement saying hello. Sam Hawa saying squad. Oh, no, he's not saying squad up. He's saying what's up. He's saying what's up. How are you, man? I'm doing okay, Sam. How are you, man? Alton D-Kid, Brad squad up, get them thumbs up. And Tracy, Lacey, Rupan Thakador, how are you? Dario Lou saying hi, Brad, good evening. Fiano Campbell is she's double facing or double fisting? If you're double facing, I don't know how that would work, but she's double facing, but I'm sure she meant to say double fisting. Eco Emmanuel, hello, Brad. And Simone Garraway saying, how are you guys doing? We're doing okay. I got to remind everybody, a couple of reminders before we get into our show. Reminder number one, if you are watching on YouTube and you want to be reminded every time we come on live, please subscribe. It's very simple to subscribe. And when you do, you'll get a ding, a notification. You will be notified on your phone or whatever device you have that we are coming on live. You'll never miss a show ever. I always get calls all the time saying, hey, Uncle Brad, you're going to be on today? Well, if you subscribe, you're definitely going to know. And on Facebook, of course, we want you to like and follow our page so you can also be notified every time we come live. Now, if you do subscribe on YouTube and you do like and follow us on Facebook, you're double fisting both in subscriptions and likes and follows, then you can become a member of the Brad Squad, which is an amazing group page that we have on our Facebook page. Jilly Gould is our gatekeeper of the Facebook Brad Squad membership page, and you can go and apply to become a member. But first, you must subscribe and then like and subscribe on YouTube and then like and follow on Facebook. Don't forget to leave your questions on our comments section. It's the only way that I'm going to be able to answer your questions at the moment. Once we get back into our studio, once Governor Cuomo gives us the thumbs up to say we're okay to go back, we will be able to take your telephone calls and go back to regular Brad Show Live for a 2 hours every day instead of the pop-up pandemic editions we've been doing from my dining room table for the last couple of weeks. Now, if you do want to reach me, you do want to speak to me, there is a way to do it. You can call 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-LAW-LINK, 1-800-529-5465, or +1 212 227 8933. And you can also follow us on Instagram. And if you follow us on Instagram at Brad Show Live, you'll get the best 2-3 minutes of all of our shows. As a matter of fact, my daughter Gabby, who never is one to give me a compliment, because your children never compliment the parents. But in this particular case, she called me today because she was at her mother's house, and she says, Brad, I just watched your explanation. She didn't say Brad, she said Dad. I just watched your explanation on Instagram about George Floyd and why so far he did not get sentenced for murder in the first degree and why it's third. And I didn't understand why. And you explained it very, very well. So I said, thank you, Gabby, very, very much, because she rarely gives me a compliment. So I was very happy to hear that. So if you don't have time to watch, like my child, 1 hour and a half of Brad Show Live, and you want to catch like 2, 3, 4, 5 minute snippets of the best of Brad Show Live, then you can catch us on Instagram at Brad Show Live, and you can get little like highlights of everything that was said on the night before, as well as a little behind the scenes, although right now we're not really behind the scenes because we're all kind of quarantined. But once we get back into the studio, you'll see a lot of behind the scenes as well. And finally, if you follow us at Brad Show Live, you have an opportunity to win a free consultation with me. All you got to do is find Bouncing Brad. There I am, Bouncing Brad. You find that post, you like that post, you tag 5 of your friends, and maybe I will pull you out of my scratchy hat. We do that every Wednesday. The more people you tag, the more chances you have. Every 5 people that you tag in that post, you get your name added into my scratchy hat for an additional time. So if you tag 5 people, you're in the hat once. You tag 10, you're in twice. You tag 3 times, you're in, you tag 15 friends, you're in 3 times, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm getting myself tongue-tied, but you get the idea. And you can win a free consultation with me. We do it every Wednesday, and it's a value of $200. And of course, as I said, you can always leave your questions in the comment section. But if I happen to pass over it, I don't get to it, don't get discouraged, don't get mad, don't get upset. What you can do is find me on Instagram at Real Brad Bernstein. And if you find me on Instagram at Real Brad Bernstein and you follow me, I don't post a lot, but if you follow me anyway, you can drop me a DM. You can drop me a DM on at Real Brad Bernstein on Instagram, and I will try my damnedest to answer your question. What other information do I have to give? That is about it. So, Lee, this is the time where you got to press the button that says Schmoozing with Brad. All right, we're opening our schmooze today. There's some immigration news I want to talk about right at the top of the schmooze. The United States Citizenship and Immigration Services, they have opened for the most part today for walk-ins, if people need to walk in and speak to an immigration officer, and they are starting to do interviews around the United States. However, they're going very slowly, and an additional however, the offices in New York City at 26 Federal Plaza, in Long Island, in Hopesville, New York, and in Newark, New Jersey, they're still going to be closed for a short period of time. Most of the USCIS offices are open here in my hometown of New York City and Long Island and Hopesville and Newark across the river. They're still closed. However, New Jersey is going to be open next week. So USCIS office is going to be opening up next week in New Jersey. And New York City, they have announced that they're implementing a deliberate 3-step process to reopen. So they're going to open in stages. They're not going to open just one big swoop. The doors open, come on in. So starting June 15th in New York City, they're going to start doing naturalization ceremonies again. That is going to be the first phase. The second phase is going to start to conduct interviews. However, they have not finalized the date in which they're going to start the interviews, and they are seriously considering, not only here in New York City, but I think around the United States, of doing remote video interviews as well. So we'll see if that actually happens. And then the third phase would involve opening up all of the services. Once the processes are in place, we will obviously share them with you. But even when they do open, it's going to be on staggered schedule. It's not going to be everybody just line up and go in. Everything is going to be over a longer period of time. Immigration is going to be open longer, and they're going to have staggered schedules about having when and where you can come in. Now, that's USCIS, and USCIS handles all of the immigration benefits. And now the immigration courts, they announced that the immigration courts are going to be opening this month as well, too. The first immigration court to be opened for non-detained cases, Honolulu, Hawaii. They're going to be opening on Monday, June 15th, 2020. All other immigration courts, as of today, they will be opening as of Friday, June 26, 2020. So if you are in need to see an immigration judge, you're in removal hearing, your case has not been scheduled, or your case was descheduled because you were supposed to go during the coronavirus pandemic, expect to start getting notices for probably not late June, but July and August that you'll be going back into court. So you got to get ready for that too, guys, as well. Now, in New York City, I was really, really, really happy to hear this. New York City, and by the way, when you hear this, anybody who has been watching Bradshaw Live for any extended period of time knows that I have been talking about this even from my radio days for years and years and years. So if you've been watching, you'll know for years, you'll know this was really important to me. So I was really, really happy that New York City is doing this. They have become the first city in the United States of America to remove the term alien, to remove the term illegal immigrant, and to remove the term illegal migrant from all local laws and all New York City published material, replacing it with the word non-citizen. And that is thanks to a bill passed by the New York City Council last Thursday. Now, for all of those people who are new to our show, I have been talking about this for years. Why? Because there is nothing illegal about being an undocumented person in the United States of America. So that is a misnomer. The only time you are illegal, where you have committed a crime, is when you have been ordered deported, you left the United States, and now you come back and you return. That is illegal. It's also illegal to run across the border that would be a misdemeanor, at a non-border crossing, and then get caught running across the border. That also would be illegal. But people living in the United States who did come across the border without inspection, people who are living in the United States on visas and overstayed their visas, there is nothing illegal about it. It is not a crime. It is not criminal activity. Yet the media, our politicians, have all labeled it illegal. It is in our conscience as somebody is committing a crime by every day in our news, in our media, on our videos that we watch. It's always illegal, illegal, illegal immigrant. There's nothing illegal about it. You're an undocumented person, or as New York City likes to say, non-citizen. Now, the term alien is in the Immigration and Nationality Act. The term alien is in the Immigration and Nationality Act. The Immigration and Nationality Act, basically the bones of the Immigration and Nationality Act, they were written in 1952. Everything has been amended from that period of time. And in 1952, they did use the word alien. But to me, the word alien means you come from another planet. You're not like us. You're a little green person with 3 fingers, 4 eyes, and an antenna. That's what an alien reminds me of. But in fact, we're all people. We all bleed the same color blood. We all have the same number of bones in our body. We all have 1 heart, 2 lungs. So we're not an alien. We're all very, very, very similar. We're actually extraordinarily similar, other than maybe we may not look alike. But other than that, we are basically all the same. So when they removed the term alien and illegal immigrant and illegal migrant, I've been saying this for years. I was saying let's call everybody a non-documented person, but if you want to say a non-citizen, that's fine too. I'm happy with that as well, because now in people's minds, when you walk down the street and say, we have a problem with non-citizens living in the United States, that sounds like a much nicer problem than having, we have a problem with illegal aliens in America. Illegal aliens, oh my God, they're breaking laws, they're from another world. So I'm really happy. It's about time, and I hope other municipalities, and I hope eventually, if Joe Biden and the Democrats sweep in November, that they too will take out the terms illegal immigrant, illegal migrant, and alien from our laws, from our conversation, so we can have a conversation that is a legitimate conversation, because most people go around and say, well, why don't you want to have amnesty? Well, I don't want to reward people who are criminals. Well, guess what? 99% of the people that you're going to give amnesty to didn't commit a crime. Meanwhile, Queens Councilman Francisco Moya, a Democrat who sponsored the bill, called the terms outdated and loaded words used to dehumanize the people they describe. And that is exactly what I have been saying for years. Moya said words matter. I think maybe Moya may have been watching Bradshaw Live, because I have about 5 videos, maybe more, going back years and years, where I talk about this same exact thing, where I say words matter. I always said the language we choose basically leads us to the conversation that we're having and how we feel. And now Moya says, the Queens councilman who had the bill changed, he said, words matter. The language we choose to use has power and consequences. It's time we as a city use our language to acknowledge people as people rather than to dehumanize them and divide us. Now, talking about dividing us, that's what the Republicans and Donald Trump have tried to do for the last week with George Floyd. Today was the first in a series of memorial services honoring George Floyd. It took place this afternoon. His family, friends, and a number of guests gathered at the North Central University in Minneapolis. Civil rights leader Reverend Jesse Jackson, Democratic Minnesota Representative Ilhan Omar, Martin Luther King III, Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar all attended. Actress Tiffany Haddish, comedian Kevin Hart, Ludacris, Chris Bridges, the rapper, also attended. Reverend Al Sharpton, the founder of the National Action Network, delivered a eulogy. At a public viewing and a private memorial is going to be held also in Rayford, North Carolina on Saturday. The 4 fired Minneapolis police officers who had been arresting Floyd, they're now in jail, and new charges were filed yesterday against the officers. As we talked about yesterday, Derek Chauvin, he was the guy who knelt on Floyd's neck for 9 minutes. He was originally charged with third-degree murder. It has now been upgraded to second-degree murder. And what that is that you intentionally tried to kill somebody while committing another crime, which I guess would be the assault on Floyd. The other former officers, J. Alexander Kung, and by the way, if he is found guilty of second-degree murder, he will serve 40 years in jail. The other former officers, and also, by the way, don't be surprised if the second-degree murder charge ultimately gets pushed up to first-degree murder. The other former officers, J. Alexander Kung, Thomas Lane, and Tu Tao, they face charges of aiding and abetting the second-degree murder and aiding and abetting the second-degree manslaughter. Now, if they are found guilty of aiding and abetting, these other officers also could spend up to 40 years in prison. Philanese Floyd, George's brother, he called his brother George a gentle giant and would never hurt anybody. Nationwide protests continued following the death of George Floyd overnight. Now, Jonathan today, our very own Yo-Yo, he marched today in Harlem with hundreds of men dressed in suits to honor George Floyd, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, and all the lives lost at the hands of the reckless authorities. Let's watch.
Black Lives Matter! Say his name! George Floyd! 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 Black Lives Matter! 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 Black Lives Matter!
Now, Senate Democrats, they observed, and by the way, go Yo-Yo. Senate Democrats observed a 9-minute moment of silence for George Floyd today. Senator Cory Booker, the longest-serving black senator, helped lead the ceremony. This week in Washington, D.C., troops lined the steps of the Lincoln Memorial as they also overlooked protests in New York City. Hundreds of protesters were arrested, and according to the Legal Aid Society, have yet to see a judge after being held for 24 hours, which is a violation of the law. And I suspect, although I have no evidence of this, but I would suspect that ultimately in New York City, because they've been held for more than 24 hours and because there's so much sympathy for the protesters, certainly the ones who were peacefully protesting, my belief would be that if you were peacefully protesting, they're probably going to drop all the charges. Those who were looting, those who were not as peaceful may need a good lawyer. Now, the majority of the protests were peaceful. There, unfortunately, as we talked about not only today but in the past, there was some violence. Last night in Brooklyn, during an anti-looting patrol, 3 officers were injured in an unprovoked attack. The injured officers are expected to recover. ABC News reported the FBI and the New York Police Department are now working to determine if the attack on these officers was the result of extremism or just regular street violence. Now, earlier Wednesday evening, video surfaced showing at least 3 officers beating a cyclist with the batons in the street. Let's watch. So it's still happening. Now, police in Iowa City, they used tear gas and stun grenades to disperse a large group of peaceful protesters during a late-night confrontation. Let's watch this. We have the Iowa video. Trust me, it happened. Oh, there it is. Nope, that's the New York City video. Meanwhile, in Austin, Justin Howell, 20 years old, he suffered a fractured skull and brain damage, his family said Wednesday, after a police officer in Austin shot the young black man with less lethal ammunition during protests over the weekend. By the way, when they say less lethal ammunition, let me explain to you what a rubber bullet is. It is a regular bullet, and they just put a piece of rubber around it. So it is being shot from the same gun. It is the same bullet, just has some rubber around it. It can kill you. It can maim you. And it could fracture a skull, just like it did to Justin Howell, who was peacefully protesting. Now, Howell was a political science major at Texas State University. He was peacefully demonstrating late on Sunday outside Austin's police headquarters when he was shot with what appears to be a rubber bullet. Now, in Los Angeles, a large nighttime rally outside City Hall dispersed, but not before dozens were arrested in a peaceful protest. I think we just showed that video about a minute ago. Speaker of the House of Representatives Nancy Pelosi was spotted marching in Washington, D.C. as well. Earlier in the day, Pelosi held back no punches in criticizing President Trump, rhetorically asking Morning Joe hosts if we live in a banana republic. The speaker criticized Trump's decision to visit the Church of St. John's, which was burned and vandalized by looters and protesters. Pelosi said Trump's actions showed contradictions and inconsistency. We have that video.
If you're going to hold up a Bible and stand in front of a church, then your message should be consistent with that Bible and those values.
Meanwhile, in a show of irony, Donald Trump finally got his wall built. That is right. But it's not a wall separating the United States and Mexico. This time it's a wall surrounding the White House. While Nancy Pelosi was marching outside, metal fencing has been installed around the White House complex as protests continue in Washington. Video taken by CNN's Betsy Klein showed a pallet truck stacked with fence panels and a team of workers in high visibility clothing installing the new perimeter. The new fencing comes after other such barricades were reported in recent days, with some protesters moving to gather outside a Trump International Hotel due to the extended perimeter around the White House. Now, President Trump previously denied reports he was rushed down to a bunker at the White House on Friday evening due to the protests, stating, "No, I wasn't rushed to the bunker. I wasn't nervous. Just going to inspect. Yeah, looks good to me." Meanwhile, images of the additional fencing came after the Pentagon ordered forces and bases in the Washington, D.C. area to force protection condition Charlie, which sounds really scary, and it is, because that is threat condition indicating the targeting of military forces or terrorist activity. So our U.S. military in Washington, D.C. is at that threat level. Now, another familiar face made a public appearance to speak about our national upheaval, but it was more positive. This was former President Barack Obama. He joined a virtual town hall yesterday to advocate for the kind of hope and change that once inspired a nation to elect him twice. Let's watch this video.
We have seen in the last several weeks, last few months, the kinds of changes and events in our country are as profound as anything that I've seen in my lifetime.
Now, the Zoom video conference was organized by My Brother's Keeper Alliance, a part of the Obama Foundation, titled Reimagining Policy in the Wake of Continued Police Violence. The event featured several younger community activists as well as Obama's former Attorney General, Eric Holder. What's interesting is when my daughter called me up, and she's 16 years old, and she said to me, you know, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I understand now the difference between third degree and second degree and first degree. And it was a well, you know, articulated, Dad. But when all of these protests are done, how are things going to change? And I said, that is a really, really good question. I don't have the answer. It's for our leaders and for our people to come together and decide what changes need to be done, both in laws and in society. Now, Obama said he is optimistic because so many young people are getting galvanized and motivated. He noted that Martin Luther King Jr., Cesar Chavez, Malcolm X were all young when they got involved in their causes. Obama observed that most of the changes needed for better and safer policing, such as barring the use of strangleholds, are going to happen on the local level. But he maintained that the diverse demographic makeup of demonstrations is now different. This is what he said. He said, you look at those protests, and that was a far more representative cross-section of America out on the streets, peacefully protesting. That didn't exist back in the 1960s, that kind of broad coalition. Meanwhile, Snapchat has joined Twitter in taking aim at what it says are President Trump's incendiary remarks. The social media company said yesterday it was stopped promoting his account on Snapchat's Discover tab because of a tweet he wrote last Saturday in which he stated that protesters would be met with vicious dogs and ominous weapons. The Discover tab is a personalized feed of posts from media publishers and high-profile accounts. It's similar to Facebook's news feed. Now, a Snapchat spokesperson said in a statement, We will not amplify voices who incite racial violence and injustice by giving them free promotion on Discover. Racial violence and injustice have no place in our society, and we stand together with all who seek peace, love, equality, and justice in America. Now, that's happening in Snapchat. That's happening in Twitter, but Facebook's taking a different position. They are not censoring anything. And now some of Facebook's earliest employees are condemning CEO Mark Zuckerberg's hands-off approach to President Trump's inflammatory rhetoric. In an open letter to their former boss, nearly 36 ex-staffers said the company's policy of allowing political speech to go largely unchecked was a betrayal of the ideals Facebook claims. They urged their former boss to reconsider his stance, beginning by fact-checking politicians and explicitly labeling harmful posts. Now, Facebook has come under attack by current employees, civil rights groups, Democratic politicians for not taking action on posts by the president. That includes a post about the protest over George Floyd. It also includes a Trump post claiming falsely that California is sending mail-in ballots to all residents, and there's going to be a huge fraud. Now, in contrast, Twitter has begun adding labels to the president's tweets, and Zuckerberg has said he doesn't believe that Facebook or any private company should be the arbiter of truth or restrict political speech, which he said is already scrutinized. Meanwhile, in another sad situation, the death of Ahmaud Arbery, preliminary hearings for the 3 men accused of the murder of Ahmaud Arbery, the unarmed black man jogging in Georgia who took a stop to look at a construction site. Well, prosecutors gathered outside the Glenn County Courthouse for the hearing of Greg McMichaels, Travis McMichael, and William Roddy Bryan. Those are the 3 who are charged with murder. Special Agent Richard Dial of the Georgia Bureau of Investigation said Travis McMichael used a racial slur while Arbery was on the ground after shooting him. Special Agent Dial described how the McMichaels and Bryan chased down Arbery in pickup trucks as he jogged in the neighborhood. The case caused widespread outrage after footage was leaked online, and the McMichaels are facing murder charges. The other man, William Bryan, faces charges of murder and criminal attempt to commit false imprisonment. And what links besides the obvious of white men killing young black men, what links these two cases is that they were both videotaped. And when you say, Apple and Steve Jobs came up with this idea that we're going to be able to take a phone and with that phone take a picture and a video and play music in our phone and be able to send messages through our phone, I don't think, or maybe he did. I don't know what Steve Jobs thought. He's dead now. But without video phones, none of this would have happened. The fact that we're able to videotape, the fact that we're able to document these crimes in the moment that they're happening is what is causing the changes in the world. So think about how it all happened from the thought of an Apple phone. Meanwhile, the FBI in Louisville, Kentucky has opened an investigation into the police-involved shooting death of a frontline EMT worker, Breonna Taylor. Taylor and her boyfriend, Kenneth Walker, were sleeping inside their Springfield Drive apartment on March 13th when officers with the Louisville Metro Police Department attempted to execute a no-knock search warrant. 3 plainclothes officers opened Taylor's front door. They started opening fire, ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta-ta, and next thing you know, Taylor was dead. Now, Taylor was accused, what she was accused of was accepting a United States Postal Service package for an ex-boyfriend who police were investigating as an alleged drug trafficker. And the boyfriend used her address. The police said they knocked several times before using a battering ram to open the door. And they claimed they were met with gunfire. They returned the gunfire. And we know the results of, unfortunately, what happened. Jefferson County Attorney Tom Wine said on Friday that while Mattingly's injury was not a result of friendly fire, and that was the sergeant who is charged with shooting Taylor. He agrees to dismiss Walker's charges pending an indictment. Now, Louisville Police Department Chief Steve Conrad announced his retirement on Facebook Thursday after a 40-year career. Conrad wrote, "We are all weathering a lot right now, and I know how challenging this is." And of course, we still have coronavirus. According to statistics from the Johns Hopkins University, there are now over 6.5 million novel coronavirus cases worldwide. 387,000 people have died. More than 2.8 million people recovered. In the United States, we're now at 1.9 million diagnoses of corona. We're now at 109,000 deaths of corona. By the time we are on air tomorrow, we'll probably be at 110,000 deaths. By the time we're on air on Monday, it'll probably be 112, 113,000. Corona is still a huge problem. And finally, there was a protest in the town of Palm Beach over George Floyd's death. Only one person showed up. Her name was Lita Forster. She's an 80-year-old woman, and she was the only person to show up Tuesday at a demonstration to protest George Floyd's death. Forster, she's 80 years old. She was carrying a Black Lives Matter sign, and she came out because it was important to show people that she had no hatred in her heart. She said, "I would have marched on I-95 if I knew about it," referring to Sunday's march in West Palm Beach that trailed along Interstate I-95 before some protesters crossed the Royal Park Bridge into Palm Beach. When asked about the risks of someone her age marching, she said, "I'm 80 years old. If I die, too bad." Forster said she had never protested in her life until after President Trump was elected. "He just brings it out of me. It's so unfair. The country has never forgiven us for electing Obama. White people are not the only people." Let's watch the video.
I never protested till we had Trump. It just brings it out in me. You don't want to come, that's their right. I don't blame them at all, but I can't not to go.
All right, and that is our schmooze of the day. We're going to get into our immigration questions. Before we get into our immigration questions, now is the time to start your watch parties. If you're watching on Facebook, start a watch party right now. There's an easy way to do it. Okay, I have it now. And also share. You can share this feed to your public story. You can share this feed on your timeline. You can share it to a group. Share this feed. Let people know this show exists. And on YouTube, if you're watching right now on YouTube, we have 119 people watching. Out of that 119 people, only 46 people happen to like this show because those are the people who gave us a thumbs up. Please give us a thumbs up right now. Turn those gray thumbs blue. And if you turn those gray thumbs blue, we'll get more people to watch our show. In addition, we want you to share this. Share this to your Twitter feed, to your Facebook feed, to your blog or Reddit, Tumblr. You can make a copy of this. You can make a copy of this link and you can put it in your WhatsApp as well. And of course, if you are watching on YouTube or you're watching on Facebook, subscribe on YouTube, like and follow on Facebook. It's like I could put it to a song. Subscribe on YouTube, subscribe on YouTube, like and follow on Facebook. Subscribe on YouTube, like and follow on Facebook. Why? Because you're going to get notified every time we come live. And not only that, people who love this show don't subscribe because they're scared. Oh, I don't want anyone to know. Don't worry. Be proud. Be proud to be part of the Brad Squad. Be proud that you like this show. So subscribe, and every day this show comes on, you will be notified. You'll get a chance to get your immigration questions answered. You're going to get an opportunity to learn more about what's going on in this world and to educate yourself and to have fun and to come together with the greatest group of people known on the face of the earth called the Brad Squad. And finally, if you want to reach me for a telephone consultation, you can give us a call at 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-LAW-LINK, 1-800-529-5465, or 212-227-8933. You can follow me at Real Brad Bernstein on Instagram and drop me a DM. I'll answer your immigration question there as well. You can also follow us at Brad Show Live. Find the Bouncing Brad, tag 5 friends, like that post, and be entered for next Wednesday's free immigration consultation giveaway worth the value of $200. But in the meantime, we have to do something that we like to call right now. I'm going to try to answer your immigration question in pop-up pandemic immigration questions. All right, so our first question comes from an email. Somebody emailed Jilly Bean, and she promised this person that I would answer this question. So it says, "Hi, Jill." So he's asking Jill, but really asking me. But the question says, "Hi, Jill." Like Jill is like, I don't know the answer to this. I'm going to send it to Brad. But the question starts, "Hi, Jill. My name is Adorny Greenless. I have a question for Brad. My mom got married when I was 14 in the United States. It's been 6 years now, and we only got a Social Security card and work permit in the last 2 years. I'm 21. I still have the Social Security number and the work permit. And my answer to you, Adorny, is if it's 5 years and you got married to a U.S. citizen and all you have is a work permit and social, something screwed up with your immigration case, something screwed up with your mom's immigration case. You should have had a green card years ago. So you need to come in and see us. You need to call us. I don't know why you don't have it. Maybe the Magic 8 Ball knows. I could ask the Magic 8 Ball, but Magic 8 Ball is not going to solve your problem. But I have no idea why you don't have a green card. But if we sit down, well, hopefully we'll figure it out. I can tell you, when you tell me that your mom got married and apparently an adjustment application was filed and you've had a work permit and social for 6 years and nothing happened, sounds like to me that maybe your case got denied or something, but we will get to the bottom of it. All right, let's see what's happening on Facebook right now. And on Facebook, let's see what our immigration questions are. And so far, I see Stargirl Mika. She's just giving us a little information. She said, "Brad, my friend got her citizenship today. She said it was 12 people at a time." Yes, they're going to be doing it in stages of people, but congratulations to your friend. Let's see if we see any immigration questions here. Nana Aku Kairu. Hello, Brad. I received my NOID, which is my notice of intent to deny letter, on April 14th, and I mailed my response with extra documents on May 8th via FedEx, which then was received on May 10th. But till today, I haven't received any receipt from USCIS till today. Please, what do I do? As long as it was received, you're not going to get a receipt back from immigration that they received your NOID. So don't expect anything in the mail that, hey, we got your NOID, just wait. As long as it was sent by FedEx and you know it was received there, you have proof that it was delivered. Now you got to wait 120 days for a decision. Okay, so 120 days from May 10th. Joy Ika, Brad dear, please, my brother filed for his 10-year permanent residence last year, and now USCIS asked for more documentation to be submitted. But his wife filed last year's tax return as married, filing separate, and then she filed as head of household. Please, will this be a problem if he adds this tax return that his wife filed? What's your advice? Yes, it's a problem. And the reason it's a problem is when you go to remove the conditions of your permanent residence, you have to show that you have a joint economic relationship. And when you file a tax return that is something other than married filing jointly, what you're saying is, I'm not responsible for my spouse's taxes, and my spouse is not responsible for my taxes. And what you're telling the U.S. government is, you do not have a joint economic relationship. So it is a problem. It's a problem that can be fixed. It's called amend your taxes. Go to a tax preparer, amend it. I made a mistake. I filed my taxes wrong. I've now corrected it, and here it is. That is exactly what you do. Andy Rodriguez with a question. Hi, I'm a United States citizen. I filed my I-130 for my minor child, 16 and a half years old. If he enters before he turns 18, he's going to be a U.S. citizen. But what happens if USCIS and the National Visa Center takes too long because of the virus and approves him after he is 18? If he is approved after he is 18, he will not be a U.S. citizen. If he's approved before 18, he is. So at some point, you're beholden to immigration doing their job. But unfortunately, if he comes into the United States after 18, he would have to be a resident for 5 years and then naturalize himself. Let's see what else we have here. Monica Stone, Brad, I'm from your radio days. So she's heard me say, Monica Stone, who is back from my radio days, I am sure you have heard me say, because I've been saying it for a long time, there is no such thing as an illegal alien. Dawson Thermosi, Brad, can you move to another state with your 2-year green card without your wife? Without your wife. You can. Except how you're going to prove it's a bona fide marriage. You plan on divorcing her. The marriage isn't working out anymore. So I think you need to tell us a little more information. But if you're going to you plan on filing a joint application with your wife and prove that it's a bona fide marriage and you're living in 2 different states, then I don't know you're gonna get through. Carol Anderson the Tiger with a pre-comment of the day. If the only live show, Brad team, you can hear all these fabulous news. That's why you need to turn in weekdays to listen to hear what you need to know about immigration. That is correct, Carol. Let's see what else is happening here. Excuse me, folks, because there's a lot of comments without questions. Miss Tita T. Good evening, Brad. Can someone file for unemployment if they are filing for a relative due to COVID? They are not working. Yes, you can file for a relative. And if you're getting unemployment, it doesn't go against you for poverty guidelines, but it shows that you're not employed. So you're going to need to get an affidavit of support from a second person. Dawson Thermosi. Oh, I answered that question from Dawson already. Marco Silhard. Hi, how likely is it for family immigration will resume on the 22nd of June? I was 1 month away from being scheduled for the visa interview as an F2B based on the wait times. What now? It's on a country by country basis. I mean, if you're in Brazil, they're not going to be opening up the embassy anytime soon. Coronavirus is going like wildfire in Brazil. If perhaps maybe you're in New Zealand where there is no coronavirus, perhaps the embassy will open soon. So I think it's going to be on a case by case, country by country basis. So, we'll have to see by each particular embassy what's going on there. Andy Rodriguez with a question. Hello, I'm a United States citizen. I filed my I-130 for my minor child, 16 and a half years old. Oh, I answered that question already, Andy. And Marco Silhard is in Canada. Well, Marco, if you are in Canada, they're not even allowing visitors in from Canada right now. So until they open up the border for visitors from Canada, I don't think that they're going to open up the U.S. Embassy for people to get their green cards. All right, let's see what's going on in YouTube. Andreas R. I'm a United States citizen. I filed my I-130 for my minor child, 16 years old. Oh, I answered that question. Belcom Lakadari. Hi, Brad. I'm a green card holder, and my husband is a United States citizen. He applied for food stamps for himself. Does the food stamps affect me when I'll apply for naturalization? Thank you. The answer is no. When you apply for your citizenship, if your spouse or another family member is getting public assistance, has no effect on your citizenship. If you're applying for a green card, completely different story. But applying for your citizenship, no. It's whether, it's what you did, not what your spouse did. Kay, God bless. Can a U.S. citizen grandmother adopt her grandson from Jamaica? Don't know where her child's mother is, but the child's father died. The father is the grandmom child. The answer is yes, Kay, God bless, but you have to do it in the right order. So what is the order? If you go to Jamaica and you adopt this child, you're never going to get the child here. The only way to do it is to bring the child to the United States as an orphan. And how do you do that? You go into court in Jamaica, and you have to strip the parent who is alive of their parental rights because the parent abandoned the child, and you're now taking care of the child. While you're doing that, you simultaneously have to do a pre-adoption here in the United States of America. Go to a local court where you live and ask a judge for a pre-adoption certificate. You have to go through social workers and have your fingerprints taken and make sure you have a nice, clean home and you're not a sexual predator. You never met Jeffrey Epstein, those type of things. And I'm sure you will be approved because I'm sure you never met Jeffrey Epstein. And you will get a pre-adoption certificate. And once the parent who's alive is stripped of their parental rights because they abandoned the child, you have another parent who's dead, you have a pre-adoption certificate from a judge, which basically says, the judge says, when the child comes to the United States, I'll do an adoption. Then you can file an orphan petition to bring the child to America. The child comes to the United States with a green card. You complete the adoption in America. And on the day of the adoption, the child becomes a U.S. citizen. This all has to be done before the child's 16th birthday. You need a lawyer to do that. You will not do that you will not be able to do that on your own. I've rarely seen people do orphan petitions on their own. It's very complicated. So give us a call. It's 1-800-529-5465. Nina Frederick with a question. USCIS filed the I-130 for adult children, priority date February 2016, approved and held at the National Visa Center. How long is the wait? Well, they're in 2014 now, so say 2 years, a year and a half to 2 years. Mikol Baez. Hi, my husband was deported after a failure to leave on a voluntary departure. What are my chances of getting him home? No criminal history, U.S. citizen, spouse. We have 4 U.S. citizen children. Your chances are good. You would have to file an I-130 visa petition for him. He's barred from coming back for 5 years. I don't know how long he's been out of the U.S., but after the 5 years that he was out from the voluntary departure, he can apply for a waiver to return. So his chances of coming back are great after he stays out that 5 years. You can do a waiver before then, but that is extraordinarily much harder to do. Either way, you should give us a call. But yes, there's an opportunity for him to come back. Shiny with a question. Asking for a friend who is applying for the I-485. Does petty theft diversion program and dismiss case impact I-45 application? This happened 7 years back. It is not a crime. So when you go through a diversion program, that's not a criminal conviction that immigration can deny your green card. However, it is bad moral character, but it happened 7 years ago. So Uncle Brad says you'll be fine. What does Milosav Minkoff say? I'm wrong, Uncle Brad. They are 56. What is 56? I'm not sure what I was wrong about, but I'm always happy to be corrected. Madacharla Ramakrishna. Hi, Brad. My I-360 got approved last month, and my I-485 still shows fingerprints received. How long does it take to approve, and can I travel with the I-131 now while my I-45 is pending? Is it safe to travel? If you have an I-131, it is safe to travel. Your I-360 got approved. Congratulations. That means you got approved as an abused spouse. How long will it take? How long will it take for the I-485 to get approved? About another 6 to 9 months from the time your I-360 was approved to the time you get an interview. And I just got a notice from Jilly Bean. She was saying that I had said there was 48 thumbs up when in fact there was 56, and I was being corrected. So thank you very much. Sometimes I literally can't read. Erica Brown, does a person come over on a K-1 visa and complete an adjustment of status, or do they have to complete another medical? The answer is yes, they have to complete another medical. AJ, hi Brad, if applying for the I-751 waiver, do you have to file within 90 days of expiration of the 2-year green card, or can you file earlier? No, it has to be in that 90-day window. Sulisam Aranda, hi Brad, I have a question. Is this a good sign? I'll let you know. USCIS messaged me and said if a final approval is granted, you will be notified of when and where to report for your naturalization ceremony. I don't know if that's a good sign. I think that is a sign of a computer sending out a form letter to you. So don't take that as a good sign. Don't take that as a bad sign. It is no sign. That is just a form letter. Jason Paul with a question. Hi, Uncle Brad. Can USCIS send a reaffirmed I-130 directly to the embassy without passing by the National Visa Center? The NVC said they never received it. It's now been 4 months. Yes, if it was reaffirmed, it would go straight back to the U.S. Embassy. So you have to contact the U.S. Embassy. It would bypass the National Visa Center. Skendi, hello, Brad. How are you? Is it true that the New York field office will open up in phases starting on June 8th and not on June 4th? The New York field office is not going to open in phases, if you go back and watch the beginning of our show, till June 15th, and it will be done in phases. Rupan Talakdor. Hi, Brad. Please say something about the 60-day ban because we're in big pressure. If you tell something positive, it'll be great for us. Rupan, I have not read anything what Trump is going to do. I can't read his mind. So if I was able to read Donald Trump's mind, I would tell you. The fact is that until the coronavirus calms down, both in numbers and deaths, it's really going to be based on what's happening with coronavirus. It's not going to be based on anything else. So it has to do with reciprocity, what other countries are allowing Americans in, and what countries have low coronavirus numbers that can come to America. But if you're asking me what is in a pumpkin's head, I don't know what goes on inside a pumpkin's head. So I don't know. I wish I can tell you. I don't know what's going to happen in 60 days from now. Mexicano. I was deported this past March. Could I come back? I've been married to a U.S. citizen for 15 years. We have 4 daughters. I have no criminal background. The answer is yes. I think I answered that question also. Dave Bashik. Hi, Brad. Great show. Submitted our I-130 for a spouse visa. I received USCIS on February 18th, 2020. Any thoughts on the time of approval? Very strong case. Spouse in Brazil. I think you're going to be waiting at least a year. And because of the coronavirus situation in Brazil, who knows what will happen. But unfortunately, Dave, you're going to be waiting at least till 2021, maybe spring or summer of 2021 before hopefully she gets here, assuming that coronavirus is taken care of in Brazil. See what else we have here on Facebook. Williams Nowazerki Christantis. I'm in removal proceedings due to overstaying. I'm married previously with an approved I-130, but I divorced my wife due to infidelity. I have now remarried. Where is my I-130? We are going for an I-130 interview or just follow the court calendar while we wait on the I-130A approval. Okay, so if you're in removal, you got to file a new I-130 with a bona fide marriage exemption, and you got to get that case approved and get that I-130 to the court. If you get a court date while this new I-130 is pending, you're going to have to go to the judge and explain why you're not with wife 1, but you're with wife 2, and this is a bona fide marriage, blah, 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 blah. But file the I-130 right now with the I-130A with a, quote, bona fide marriage exemption, with all the proof that you and your spouse are in a bona fide marriage. Umar Koch, I guess. There's no vowels here, so let's UMRKCH. Hi, Brad. I filed the VAWA, I-45, and I-765. I did my biometric already, but I see C31 category on my receipt. Is that normal? I'm in removal proceedings. I filed for advanced parole and I got approved. Is it safe to travel? Well, no, C31 is based on an I-360. So if you already have the I-360 approved, then yes, C31 would be the proper category for the work permit. If your I-360 isn't approved, you should have done a work permit under C9 for adjustment. Is it safe to travel on advanced parole? I don't think it's safe to travel if you're in deportation. You're in removal. The government wants you to leave the country, and then for you to voluntarily leave and come back, I think you're looking for a lot of trouble at the airport. Kayan Mash. Me and my wife are both U.S. citizens. I applied the I-130 for my parent who lives in Bangladesh. My wife is pregnant, so she applied for Medicaid and wants to apply for SNAP. Is it going to be a public charge or affect negatively on my application? It will not affect negatively if the food stamps and the SNAP and the Medicaid is for the unborn child and for your children and for your pregnant wife, provided she gets off of all government assistance within 4 weeks of birth. Natalie Welch O'Daniel. Hi, Brad. My son went to his sent in his I-90. That's for the renewal of his green card. He got it back, but they're all wrong. His birthday, his year, everything's wrong. We got it wrong going now 2 years. What can we do? Well, I think the best thing to do is file a new I-90 and get it done right. And if it's going on wrong for 2 years, give me a call. Joy Eka. I answered that question. Rona Lawrence. Hi, Brad. My sister passed away, but her papers were coming through. Will my niece be able to come? My mom did their paperwork. She paid for the visa already. If your niece is in another country, no. If your niece is here, yes. If your niece is under 16, perhaps you want to now talk about doing an orphan petition. And I'm sorry about the death of your sister. Fergie Edak N. Can an immigrant get a licensed firearm? Yeah, why not? If you qualify. Ingrid Black. Brad, what about the Jamaica embassy? What about it? I don't know when it's going to open. It depends on, I wait for the notifications just like you. So when we're told, we'll let you know. Joy Ika, just watch it over on YouTube. You can rewind while the show is going on. Thank you very much, Jessica Levy. And let's go back to YouTube. AJ with a question. My I-751 waiver filed with strong evidence of living together and commingling finances and report of abuse. What are the chances the interview is still taking 2 years? At least, generally, most people are getting interviews, but if you have a strong case, maybe you'll be in the small minority of people who don't get it. I don't know what you submitted, so I can't tell you for sure, but there's a small minority of people who submit a very strong case who don't get an interview. And those are mostly people who already went through the adjustment of status here, and it's generally with people who have children. Jerry Stewart with a question. My wife is a permanent resident. She filed for her husband and minor son who are in Jamaica. Petition was submitted August 29/19. That's in the future. When should she expect to hear from USCIS? I think you got to ask Doc Brown and get in the DeLorean. I guess she's talking about August 2019. If it was filed in August 2019, you should expect to hear sometime in the fall. And see if there's anything else. Dwayne Williams with the last question of the day. My name is Dwayne Williams. We figured that one out. Brad, my wife's case is at the visa center in my country. How long will it take for her to come here? And with that, I know nothing about your wife. I don't even know if you're a citizen or resident and where you are at the visa center, but he wants to know when his wife will come, especially since I don't know when embassies are going to open with coronavirus. Magic 8 Ball, when will Dwayne's wife come? And the Magic 8 Ball says, better not tell you now. That's what it says. Better not tell you now. There it is. Dwayne, Magic 8 Ball doesn't know the answer either. All right, folks, that's our show for the day. We'll be back tomorrow for Friday. Hopefully we'll have a good Friday. Friday, not Friday. If we call it Friday here. And also, by the way, if you liked our show and you want to come back for Friday tomorrow and Monday and Tuesday and Hump Day Wednesday, then please subscribe on Facebook and you'll get a ding and a notification every time we come on live. You can also like and follow us on Facebook. If you like and follow us on Facebook, you'll also get the same ding. Maybe it'll be a different ding, but you'll get some sort of notification. You can also follow me on @RealBradBernstein if you didn't get your immigration questions answered. We will get your immigration questions answered on @RealBradBernstein on Instagram. And just drop me a DM and follow me. You could also follow us at Brad Show Live. If you follow us at Brad Show Live, you'll get the best 2-3 minutes of all of our shows, the best content in short little spurts. Plus, you have a chance to find Bouncing Brad, tag 5 friends, and get in Uncle Brad's hat. Oh my God, I'm losing my English words here. In Uncle Brad's scratchy hat, and possibly win a $200 consultation with me. And of course, if you need to reach me, the telephone number is 1-800-529-5465. That's 1-800-LAWLINK, 1-800-529-5465. And we now have our comments of the day. What are our comments of the day? Jeremy Goldberg, now known as Jeremy J. Rhymes, Poetry Thursday. It's another day. What can I say? Brad Show is on. Hip, hip, hooray. All right, J. Rhymes. Great. Alton Deacon. Such valuable immigration information and social commentary presented each day. Even when I miss the live show, I go back and watch old episodes. Excellent job all the time. Brad for president. I have a few votes. Thank you. What else? Telma Ubi, I look forward to your show always, Uncle Brad. Good job. Thank you very much, Telma. Stargirl Mika, the best thing I ever did in life was hire Spar and Bernstein. I can't wait to fly to New York to go meet everyone in the building, bring them some oxtails, and tell them my story. I can't wait either, Stargirl. Have a great night, everybody. We'll see you all tomorrow. Thanks for watching.